Welcome to the Amran Hakim channel. Today I want to invite you all to reflect for a moment. The question is simple but profound: which is more important, life or happiness? The good news is that for all of you viewers from the United States and India, I have an offer for you. For anyone who wants their channel to grow faster, I will promote your latest video on my community tab. Yes, my community tab. Should we continue to live even when life no longer brings happiness? Is life still worth living even though every day feels like a burden? Imagine someone who has lived in misery since childhood. They have never been loved, never accepted, never happy. Every day they feel like a burden to others. He was hungry, depressed, and hopeless. Then he asked. We often avoid questions like this because they feel taboo or even sinful. But in truth, behind these questions, there are cries from people searching for meaning in their life. In 1942, a French philosopher named Albert Camus wrote a book titled The Myth of Sisyphus. In it, Camus said that human life is absurd. We live, but we don't know why we have to live. We die, but we also don't know what happens after death. However, from that ignorance, humans have created various beliefs and moral systems, religion, ethics, laws, and norms. All of these were created to give meaning to a life that we don't truly understand. We are forbidden to commit suicide because it is considered an act against God, even though no human being truly knows what God wants. I once knew someone who suffered from cerebral palsy. Since birth, he had been unable to move his body normally. But what was most painful was not just his weak body, but his full consciousness. He knew he was different. He knew he was a burden. He knew how difficult it was to live in a body that did not obey his will. Every time he left the house, he was bullied, mocked, and shunned. He wanted to study, wanted to work, wanted to love, but all of that was impossible for him. Life for him was not a gift, but a long prison without hope. He said, I don't want to live. I just want to stop suffering. The question is he wrong to think that way? Religion and society often respond, be patient, you will be happy in heaven. But who can prove that heaven really exists? All such beliefs are based on mystical speculation, beliefs without certainty. Then Camus said, human life is a struggle against absurdity. We realize that life is meaningless, yet we still choose to live and search for meaning in it. But what if someone has lost the ability to search for that meaning? There is one other thing we rarely realize. Every time we survive, we always sacrifice other lives. We eat, which means we kill other creatures. We build houses, which means we take land and the habitats of other creatures. The longer we live, the more resources we consume. In other words, human existence on Earth always comes at a price, paid by other creatures. So, is our life really as sacred as we imagine? Look at the world around us. There are people who own 10 houses, while millions of people have nowhere to live. There are people who own cars worth billions, while others don't have enough money to eat. In Indonesia alone, there are 12 million empty houses, while 12 million families do not have a home. Why not share them? Because humans value ownership more than sharing. Plato once said, an ideal society should not be too large. If the population exceeds a certain limit, greed will arise, and the rich will dominate the lives of the poor. Meaning of life and the right to happiness. From all of this, we are invited to reflect. Must life always be lived, regardless of the circumstances? Should happiness not be an equally important goal? Why don't people who suffer have the right to choose their own path in life? We often say that life is a gift, but for some people, life is endless suffering. Perhaps what we need to do is not judge who is right or wrong, but learn to understand the suffering of others. Not everyone is able to find meaning in life in the same way we do. So friends, think about this. Is life more important than happiness? Or is it actually happiness that gives meaning to life? I'm not asking for an answer, because there may not be a definite one, but at least we learn to not judge and begin to understand that every human being has their own path and meaning in life.